Welcome to the Wellness Show. My name is Dr. Keisha Christian. I am your host for today, and we're so glad that you've tuned in for another episode. In celebration of Physical Therapy Month, we are so glad to feature aquatic physical therapy today. It is such a unique specialty that's provided, and it offers so many different benefits. Many of you know aquatic physical therapy is simply water physical therapy. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's using evidence-based science and skilled physical therapy to render services in order to rehabilitate a person. It could be someone who's had an injury, illness, surgery, or even on the preventative, or even just for health and wellness in general. So today I'm really excited to bring forth a special guest today. We're so excited to have her. I call her Super Physical Therapist. In short, it's Super PT. The reason being is, number one, she's a doctor of physical therapy. Number two is that she works in so many different physical therapy specialties to include aquatic physical therapy. And number three, she travels all around the Triangle area to render physical therapy services. She is employed with UNC Rex, and we are so glad to have her here today. So without further ado, I introduce to you and welcome Dr. Dawn Loomis. So glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And so yes, I call you Super PT because you do so much with UNC Rex, and you provide so many different services within the physical therapy field. And today we're highlighting aquatic physical therapy. I know that's one of your passions. So if you can start by sharing with us your passion, number one, for physical therapy. And then we'll go into your passion for aquatic therapy.
So I love to help people, and I love people in general. And so physical therapy was just a great fit. Aquatic therapy, I've always grown up around water. My parents have a lake house in Roxborough, North Carolina.
Okay.
And before I even went to physical therapy school, I taught water aerobics.
Oh, okay.
And so then when I did go to physical therapy school, a lot of my clinicals were an introduction to the aquatic rehab aspect of physical therapy. And so it just got me really interested in it. I saw how rewarding it was and just how much, people thrived in the water environment.
Absolutely. You hit a good point, is that there's so many people that thrive in the water environment and benefit. I was recently reading some evidence-based research about the fact that it's so beneficial for so many systems within our body. Not only the musculoskeletal system, but their cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal system, the nervous system. So it is wonderful. Also, aquatic physical therapy has been used since the ancient time. They used to use hot mineral salts in the water for rehabilitation purposes, but also just generally feeling good. So you hit some great points on, it's such a great medium to render physical therapy and help some to get better, to rehabilitate and recover from their illness and injury, and also such a great important preventative measure in using aquatic physical therapy. So yes, that is great. So share with us some of the different conditions that you see here at UNC Rex for aquatic physical therapy.
Sure. So there's just so many that can really benefit from the aquatic environment. So it's a unique therapeutic environment because there's a lot of things that you can do in water that you can't perform on land. And so because of the thermal hydrodynamic properties of water, so the buoyancy of water, which is the upward force that equals the displacement of water. And so with that, you have a resistive quality.
Sure.
So you can use it for strengthening. So patients that are deconditioned. You also, the buoyancy decreases weight bearing through like the spine and the legs. So people with back pain, joint pain, it helps with them. There's that hydrostatic pressure that water has. So, and that is basically any immersed object has that equal surface fluid pressure.
Right.
So the deeper you go in the water, the increased pressure you get. So a lot of times patients with swelling in their legs would benefit from it, or like lymphedema patients. And then, you know, water is very viscous, so that the water molecules and the friction between them also creates that resistance. So even more strengthening aspects. So I would say low back pain, people with joint pain. The thermal aspect to it helps rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. You've got spasticity, and I feel like there's a relaxing quality to water that helps with a lot of our neurological patients. People, you know, I see after surgery, so like spinal fusions, hip replacements, but you have to make sure that your wound and your incision site is completely closed. And then there's people that have trouble with balance, walking, you know, strength, deconditioning, lymphedema.
Right.
So a lot of different.
As I mentioned earlier, aquatic physical therapy is good for just about everyone. With the physical properties that are so beneficial, brings me back to when we were in physical therapy school, and our physics class is learning about the water inertia and, like you said, the hydrostatic pressure and viscosity and resistance. It's just amazing that from then you could use all of those properties within your treatment plan to help, you know, in terms of whether you want to treat someone in the shallow water, the deep water, whether you want more of a little bit of a faster movement or slower movement, whether you want to use resistive tools or just even use the body as a resistance mode. So it's really interesting how you can do that. Now, we talked about so many conditions that would benefit from aquatic physical therapy. What are some conditions, or maybe some people specifically, that may not benefit? Are there any?
So if you're right out of surgery, you definitely need to heal. And so no open wounds, no open incisions, incontinence cannot be in the pool. I feel like sometimes with MS patients, the heated aspect to the therapeutic pool can sometimes have like a fatiguing effect on them. So a lot of times we can accommodate them in the lap pool, which temperatures run a little bit, you know, lower than the ones in the therapeutic pool. Also, I feel like total knees, they're not always my favorite in the pool. But I say that with, you know, everybody has a unique case and condition, and so there are definitely exceptions.
Okay.
And so
people who have had total knee replacements, is it perhaps better later on after the recovery period? I know usually it's a couple months of, you know, just focused physical therapy after total knee replacement. So would you say that perhaps later on some people that may not be candidates for the water therapy, that they could incorporate the aquatic therapy later on?
Definitely. I feel like in the beginning, a lot of it's about getting your range of motion.
Sure.
And so I feel like that's sometimes more beneficial on land. But afterwards, getting movement through the leg, the knee, that kind of mobility, even strengthening, definitely can be done in the water.
Right.
So I agree. I feel like it can come later. And then sometimes, you know, in the beginning, that specific individual may not be relaxing. The muscles may be too tight. And sometimes water helps with gaining range of motion.
Sure.
In the beginning. So it really does depend on that specific person, I guess.
I've worked in aquatics, but it's been quite some time now. There's a lot that has evolved in aquatic therapy. As you were speaking about the total knee replacement and range of motion and the strengthening, I was just thinking about gait. A lot of times after the total knee replacements, it's a challenging transition. People have had the total knee replacements to put ample weight and feel comfortable and confident to put ample weight on their affected leg. So I'm wondering if the aquatic therapy would be beneficial in helping that, because it's such a good transition, retraining from the water to the land.
I love water for teaching and helping people relearn gait mechanics, walking. I think it's extremely beneficial. You see it in stroke patients
Mm-hmm.
that are having to relearn their walking. And like the hydrostatic pressure that I mentioned, it allows you a little bit more awareness of where your limb is in space.
Right.
So it gives you a little bit more feedback on your placement of the foot. Things that they need that at that time they're lacking a little bit.
Right, right. Wow, it's so monumental, because I remember when I worked with a patient, and it's such a vivid memory for me. He fell from a bridge, a really high bridge, and I remember the doctor said that he would never walk again. And he was actually another patient, a land patient of one of my colleagues. And at the time that I was working in aquatic physical therapy, she had recommended him to us for aquatic physical therapy. And so I started working with him. And he was just an amazing patient that we got him in the water. The things that he was able to do in the water that he wasn't able to do on land in terms of range of motion and gait and strengthening. And then, at some point, we were able to transition a lot of those activities to the land. And it just pleased my heart when he was able to finally walk out of the inpatient rehabilitation when he was originally advised that he would never walk again. So it is so wonderful to be able to, yes, it's wonderful to be able to have those success stories. And I know with aquatic therapy, it also yields a lot of great successful outcomes as well. So in the water, what are some of the treatment techniques and or equipment that you use to help people regain either range of motion, flexibility, or just strength?
So equipment-wise, we use dumbbells, noodles, hand paddles.
Mm-hmm.
We use the kickboard. We have a step that actually can place in the water. So we use flotation devices that you can place around the neck, lower trunk area, that helps with floating. And then you can do all sorts of different stretching when you've got them in floating, or different activities for strengthening, relaxation, Badra.
I think that's great. I know that some people may not be as comfortable as others in the water. It's nice to know that there are flotation devices that you can use to suspend them, help suspend them in the water so that they can feel more comfortable in that type of environment. Also, do you have lifts that perhaps someone who is not able to physically walk into the pool, down the steps, that they're able to use the lifts to get in the water?
We do. We have what's called a Pent Air Aquatram chairlift.
Okay.
And I think it was installed in 2014 here in Cary, and it has a weight limit about 400 pounds.
Okay.
So I feel like between the chairlift and, of course, the stairs with the railing, I feel like for the most part we can get patients in the water pretty easily.
Okay, great. You touched on the maximum limit. I was also recently reading some evidence-based practice about people with obesity, that aquatic therapy is amazing in the water.
Gets them moving.
And it gets them moving in a comfortable environment,
Exactly.
right? So there are so many different conditions, as we said, and also preventatively and just health and wellness, weight loss, that the water therapy would be fantastic. So here at UNC Rex, tell me what an initial aquatic physical therapy visit would be like for someone.
So the first visit actually runs about an hour, and it's on land, and it's an evaluation. You just would wear normal clothing.
Okay.
So you'd come for that one. Then the subsequent appointments would be in the water.
Okay.
And then you would, it's about 30 minutes, and you would wear, of course, a swimsuit or shirt and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, not see-through. Basically, it's me applying all the kind of the equipment and the techniques and the physical therapy in the water environment.
Wonderful. And like I said, you're super PT, so you see your own patients, but also patients from your colleagues. that you see in the pool. And how great is that to be able to see some of the advancements that they're able to do biomechanically in the water and report that back to the therapist, and then they can incorporate that in their land therapy as well.
Exactly. So a lot of times they transition from aquatics to land, which is a great thing.
It is.
And they can continue to work on their walking. They kind of get the mechanics, and then they can apply it to a more, normal setting, environment, being on land.
And that's great. Now, what are the temperatures that you maintain the therapeutic pool in?
So usually therapeutic pools run between 89 degrees and 97 degrees. We keep ours at 90.
Okay,
90
great.
degrees Fahrenheit.
So that's a comfortable environment where people can still get in and exercise and move and still feel comfortable, not overwhelmed or...
It's a really nice, cozy environment. It's
Good.
really comfortable.
It is Aquatic Physical Therapy at UNC Rex Wellness, and they provide so many different services. And Aquatic Physical Therapy, again, is our specialty that we're featuring today. It has so many benefits for everyone. I have referred a lot of people actually to UNC Rex, not only for the actual aquatic program, physical therapy program, but you have a great pool that people can transition, and actually once they've completed their physical therapy program in the water, they can do a lot of the same techniques and the exercises in the water here at Rex. I've had some spine patients that have referred, and they've gotten a membership here at Rex.
We really hope that they do that.
Yeah.
We hope they continue.
Yes.
Get a wellness membership or find a pool that, works for them.
I think it's great. I think water is one of the best forms of exercise, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Because it's, you're in a low impact environment, and it just feels good. And like you mentioned about the water molecules, you have water molecules surrounding you in the water, and it almost feels like a massage while you're working and doing exercise. So it really doesn't feel like a workout, really. It feels good. And, it does help to release those great chemicals within our body so that we have that natural feel-good experience.
Yeah.
So if you are interested, or if you have an injury, illness, have had surgery, and you're wondering, I really am interested in aquatic therapy, but I don't know what it is, or, maybe I need some more information, call Dr. Dawn at UNC Rex Wellness. She is wonderful. She has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge about aquatic therapy and various medical conditions. Couple the two together, and she can get you better pretty quickly, and you'll feel good. She's from North Carolina, so she has that Southern charm, and she's just wonderful to be around. Very relaxing. You'll feel comfortable, and you'll be able to go through a physical therapy aquatic program with her. There are also some other physical therapists that practice aquatic physical therapy within the Triangle area here at UNC Rex, and they are wonderful also. So again, if you have any questions, call UNC Rex. They will help you. They will point you in the right direction. They provide lots of specialties, including the aquatic physical therapy, and you can't go wrong. They provide great services, great care, and they will get you on your journey to health and wellness. And that's what we're here talking about. We all desire for you to have a good quality of life today, tomorrow, and years to come. And what better way to start that with UNC Rex and the Aquatic Physical Therapy program, or any other programs that they may have. So call them today if you do need their services for rehabilitation or preventative measures in aquatic therapy, or even just overall health and wellness. Again, they provide good services in a comfortable environment, and we are so glad that Dr. Dawn took the time to share with us. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you, and you're such a peach. And it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for sharing with us so many just benefits and information about aquatic physical therapy. I love it myself, and my family is from the Caribbean. I know you said that you grew up in a water environment, so I also grew up in a water environment, so it's always very comfortable for me. Even when I, let's see, come in contact with either a pool or a beach, there's something about that serenity that comes all over me. So I love aquatic physical therapy. So thank you again for sharing those services. We look forward to seeing some people continue to be involved in UNC Rex's Aquatic Physical Therapy program, and some new people also getting involved in the program for so many different benefits.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for tuning in for another segment, and we wish you wellness today, tomorrow, and years to come. Thank you.
Thanks.